The new era of fantasy football advice begins now. Hey there, fellow fantasy football freaks. It's me, the Fantasy TyRant, the Ty guy, or just Ty, whatever. But here it is, the inaugural episode of the Fantasy TyRant. First full episode you're gonna see. Hopefully you saw the previews, enjoyed them, got a taste of what we're gonna do here. If you don't know, this is a fantasy football show. There's a little bit of a twist to it. You see, I've decided not to suck ass. Good advice, in-depth analysis. Hey, plus I won't put you to sleep. Hey, what do you think about that? Let's get things started. This is the Tuesday show, so we're going to go into waiver wires, buy and sell. We're going to start off the way we start off every week. Here it is, the tirade. Kenyon Drake went down Sunday with a ligament tear to his ankle. The Cards are treating it like a high ankle sprain and he will miss a few weeks. Let's all wish him a speedy recovery. But with that being said, the Chase Edmonds era has begun. If you've been paying attention from the beginning, you knew that in my first teaser, I talked about how you should drop Drake and pick up Edmonds. Because I told you this was coming. One way or another, Chase Edmonds was taking over this backfield. Here we are. And I don't think it's going to be just for the next few weeks. I think this is for the foreseeable future. You see, this Colin Edmonds, that was my first prediction for this channel. So, yeah, I'm a little proud. I want to ride that pick like a high-quality escort rides a man pole, all the way to the bank, baby. Chase Edmonds is like my own baby boy, suckling at my teeth. But now he's out there on his own, and he's just crushing it like the man-beast he is. So if you haven't snagged him already, you better get him now via trade, waiver wire, however you can. You should have listened to me a few weeks ago, but you didn't quite know what the amazing fantasy football pimp you were dealing with here, so I forgive you. But for those who were smart enough to listen and pick them up, sit back, relax with me, and let them bring us another title, baby. Because the Edmonds train is pulling out of the station. All aboard! Hoo-hoo! And that was the tirade, my friends. So let's move on to a segment now that I've designed to help you make that mad money. That's right, we're talking about buy and sell. Welcome everyone to buy and sell!
Buy. Sell.
Oh, here we are, buy and sell. Ba-bang, ba-bang, ba-bang. Hey everyone, buy and sell. Where I tell you which players you're going to buy, which players you're going to sell. Let's find out who those players are. Now let's talk about some QBs. I want to...
Buy.
That's right. Let's start with Josh Allen, who buffaloed his way into top 5 QB status earlier in the season, but in the last few weeks has dropped off completely. Now the reason for this might be because Tennessee and Kansas City have pretty stout defenses, and the Jets are so bad you don't even need to score on offense against them. Hell, the kickers and defense did the job. But the rest of the season looks great with some very juicy matchups coming up. Like against the Seattle Seahawks' dismal defense, you got the Chargers who put up so many points you gotta throw a lot just to counteract that, and the Denver Broncos who, well, suck. So if you have a nervous Josh Allen owner out there and you can make the trade, I'd do it. Like if you offer them a low-end QB1 or high-end QB2 along with a bench piece for some depth, get a 2-for-1 going, see what happens. I also want to buy Pat Mahomes. He hasn't racked up fantasy points in bunches recently, and whoever has him in your league might just be a little bit concerned. Now you're going to have to give up a lot for him, but maybe you're a Dak owner who just hasn't filled that gap, and you happen to be stacked at another position like wide receiver. Like you could try to make a play for Mahomes with, say, Calvin Ridley. Like if you had Ridley as your wide receiver 2 and Devontae Adams or Nuke Hopkins as your 1, and at wide receiver 3 you snagged a deal on someone like DK Metcalf or Terry McLaurin, and your wide receiver bench runs deep, then Mahomes for Ridley would be an awesome deal. You may have to add in a QB or sweeten the deal somehow, but it's doable. You should also buy Cam Newton. He's going to be pennies on the dollar right now, but he could still drop dimes. Plus, his legs will give him great floor most weeks. This past week was just an outlier, but maybe the Cam Newton owner in your league doesn't agree. Try just throwing Cam in as a bonus on another trade, see if the owner cares. They might have a stud QB who already had their bye like Lamar Jackson, so you can get Cam Newton on the cheap. And if he doesn't pan out, you didn't pay much to get him, so it's worth the low risk. Now we're going to talk about which QBs to
Sell.
just to make room. And let's start with Baker Mayfield. Hey, he's not going to have another 5-touchdown game, alright? We know that, alright? So you may as well sell him now while he's at his highest value. Because other than that 5-touchdown game, he's been dismal. Hadn't even reached 20 fantasy points once. And now with Odell down, things aren't looking good for Baker. So try to take advantage of his big game while you still can. Pair him up with an RB or a wide receiver 2 or 3. Try to get in and get a QB1 out of the deal. Regardless, you better
Sell.
Other QBs I'm selling.
Sell.
Matthew Stafford. He couldn't even put up a big game against the Falcons. I'm done. You should be too. Not sure what you're going to get for him, but I'd take like an RB4 and a sandwich for him right now.
Once again, the conservative sandwich-heavy portfolio pays off for the hungry investor.
And I'm
Sell.
selling Minshew as well. The rumors are that he might soon get benched as a desperation play for Doug Marrone to keep his job. Not sure if it'll work, but it sounds like Minshew Mania will soon be dead. Maybe you can ship him off for some running back or wide receiver before that ship has sailed. Now let's talk about running backs, because I want to buy Clyde Edwards-Helaire. The Denver D isn't bad, but their offense is atrocious. The Chiefs didn't need a play offense to beat them. They let their D do all the work. If an owner wasn't paying attention, maybe they think that Lev Bell was cutting in on the workload for CEH, which isn't true at all. But hey, you can give that line of thinking a shot and get CEH on the cheap. There's a lot of talk about Edwards-Helaire not living up to all the hype, but even with his struggles, he's still a top 10 running back. So take advantage and buy CEH before his owner figures it out and comes to their senses. I'm also looking to buy Josh Jacobs. His first game of the season was phenomenal, but then it's been up and down since. Time to buy the dips. His stock will rise as many of his matchups are sweet going forward. Carr has been better than expected in the passing game, and that's about to open things up for Josh Jacobs. Buy before the window closes. And you're going to want to buy Kareem Hunt. Since Chubb left, he's been the bell cow back, and was the better fantasy back even when Chubb was there. He's still a top 10 running back even after a couple of middling games, but his upcoming schedule should have you licking your chops. Just look at all that goodness, and with OBJ gone, those targets will go around and Hunt is sure to get some of them, so I could see Hunt being a top 5 running back the rest of the season. Buy him now. As for the running backs to sell, let's take a look at Todd Gurley. He's been playing his ass off this season, and has been a lot more durable than was expected. So that just means his time is almost up. I don't even have a watch. All of this is going to come crashing back down to earth very soon. His knee's not going to be able to keep up with this pace, and the matchups going forward, not that great. Maybe one more good week left this week against the Panthers, and then you sell him like a sizzling hotcake. Other running backs to sell, Ronald Jones has been Bruce Arians' guy, but now it's clear that Tom Brady's got his 2 cents in as usual, and Fournette looks like he's going to edge out Rojo for the top spot on the RB depth chart in Tampa Bay. This is at least going to be a committee going forward, but I think it will heavily lean on Fournette, if not now, then soon. Sell Rojo before his mojo fizzles out. And I may not have to say this, but Joe Mixon's coming back, likely after the bye. So you have one more week of use in Gio Bernard. Maybe you don't need him, and you trade him to a desperate fantasy owner who needs a win, or the Mixon owner themselves. He'll be viable this week, but after that, Gio's production will zoom away. And finally, let's talk about the pass catchers, the wide receivers and tight ends. And the first wide receiver I want to talk about is DK Metcalf. Ooh, I'd love to get my hands on some of that DK. And his owners might be a little nervous after watching what Lockett did. His 50-burger performance in comparison to DK scoring under 10 points last week, that's going to make DK owners sweat. And it's time to take advantage. Lockett's production is so up and down, but other than last week, DK's has been pretty reliable. And he's got major upside and ability to put up some big monster games as well. He's not Donkey Kong, but buy
Bye,
this
bye, bye,
DK
bye, bye.
to help you barrel over your competition. Just gotta find a DK owner who's that bananas. And I'm digging Stephon Diggs this year despite the recent lack of production. Just copy and paste much of what I said about Josh Allen earlier and extrapolate that into this analysis here. Go on, do it. I'll wait. Again, no watch. Okay, he's a top 10 wide receiver but had a bad game. Look for all the Bills' offensive players to bounce back this week and for the rest of the season. And go get Diggs if you still can. Try offering a high-end wide receiver too. You might not be able to buy him too low, but give him a shot. He'll prove to be worth the effort to get him on your team. And with OBJ out, Jarvis Landry should see a huge uptick in his production. Rashard Higgins will play a major role in taking those targets, as will Hunt and the tight ends, but Landry should be the main benefactor. He's been garbage all year, so maybe you can get him for some trash. Take him off the hands of an oblivious fantasy owner, you will turn someone's trash into treasure. For tight end, pick yourself up some stocks of Hayden Hurst. The Falcons have been on an offensive tear since the coaching change, and Hurst is getting some of that love. He's primed for a big day any week now. And with a very favorable tight end schedule going forward, the chances are good that his best weeks are ahead. So go buy him now. Now the pass catchers I want to sell, that's where things get a little bit tricky. It's time to sell all your Cowboys wide receivers, all of them. That's it. That's the end of analysis. I mean, come on. What more do I need to say? Andy Dalton's down. He's going to be out for a while. And even when he was in there, he wasn't doing much. Get rid of them now before you can't. Because unless the Cowboys sign another free agent quarterback, come on, it's Kaepernick time, right? Then you're looking at 7th round rookie quarterback DiNucci taking over. No, you don't want that. This is a code red. Sell all your Cowboys pass catchers immediately. Oh, okay, here's some other pass catchers to sell too. Tyler Lockett had the best game of his career and his stock is at an all-time high. Nowhere to go but down, and I think he'll play second fiddle to DK going forward. I think you'd be surprised to know that you could likely add on another player for depth and still get the job done on this trade. Sell for top dollar and get like a wide receiver or running back one. What about Chase Claypool? Hey, just call that last game a fluke, even though it isn't, because as long as Smith-Schuster and Deontay Johnson are healthy, Chase Claypool's abilities get put in the vault until next season. This year you better sell Claypool, or like his namesake Les Claypool would say, your name could be mud. At the tight end position, I smell a drop-off from Andrews. I call him that because that's how his name looks on the players list, see? He's been pretty good, though up and down for the season. I look at his schedule and, call me crazy, I just see more down weeks coming up. Maybe Lamar leans on his own legs as well as outside receivers like Hollywood Brown. I mean, keep him if you can't deal him in a 2-for-1 for like Kelsey or Kittle or Waller, someone like that. But try going for something big with this guy. It'll be worth a shot. So that's the buy and sell this week, which leaves me with the final segment for our Tuesday shows. My waiver wire top 10 picks for the week. Number 10, Wayne Gallman. Hey, he proved to be a better running back than Devontae Freeman, who runs like a nun with the sugar shits. And he's being given the rock, so go pick him up. Number 9, Cole Beasley. Especially with John Smokey Brown injured, but even when not, Beasley makes a good wide receiver 3 or even wide receiver 2 fill-in. Why do you all sleep on him every year? Amateurs. Number 8, Nelson Aguilar. Hey, we all knew this kid was talented, but it wasn't until week 7 on the Raiders in his 5th season that he realized his potential. Hey, better late than never, right? Number 7, Baker Mayfield. Just to trade him to a sucker, that's all. Number 6, Harrison Bryant. Could he be the second coming of Gary Barnidge for the Browns? Does anyone remember him? No? Alright, well then moving on. Number 5, Teddy Bridgewater. Okay, so I said you should sell high on this guy a couple weeks ago, but he continues to put up assloads of fantasy points, and he could be a league winner. Or he might be a sell high candidate again after a couple weeks, hence why he's in the middle of this list. Number 4, Rashard Higgins. No relation to Cincinnati's T, but on the rise just the same. With OBJ gone, forget what the other dipshits say. I say it's going to be Rashard Higgins who benefits most from Beckham's absence. When it comes to this bold statement, you can just consider me Mark Ronson. Don't believe me? Just watch. Number 3, Brandon Ayuk. With no Debo, pick up the explosive 49ers rook and fire him up against the Rainy City bitch pigeons and watch him set those dirty birds on fire. Number 2, Sterling Shepard. Another major talent that is yet to take off because of injury and circumstance. The injury is past him, and the circumstances haven't been better. I mean, they're not great, but it's better than it has been. It's now or never for Sterling Shepard, and now looks better after Week 7's performance. And my number 1 waiver wire pick of the week, of course you all saw this coming, Chase Edmonds. Rewind and listen to the tirade if you need to know more. My baby boy is ready to let loose. Go get you some, Chase. Hey, so that's the first episode in the books, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully that helped. If it did, hit like, share, subscribe, hit that bell for the notifications. If it didn't help, that's maybe because you're beyond help. So maybe just find another hobby, you poo wizard. Now I'll be back tomorrow with benches, bumps, and deep dives. In the meantime, leave me some comments. If you have some questions for fantasy football advice, I'll be happy to answer them. I'm also working on getting some more social media up and running, so you can ask me questions there too eventually. I'll let you know when that drops. Ask anything you want. I'll answer as many questions as I can, because that's what I'm here for. Your fantasy tyrant is here to help you beat all the candy asses in your league without having to fall asleep listening to the usual boring jamokes. So I'll see you all tomorrow for another show, unless you forget to hit the bell and you miss it, like a dumbass.